I have one goal today, and that is to break your brain. All right, let me explain here. All right, this is something that is fundamental in our business. As being a real estate entrepreneur, let me tell you one of these huge landmarks that I want everybody that is seeing this, hearing this, talking about this, whatever, is I want you to get a massive deal as quickly and as often as possible. All right, let me define this. That is a $50,000 net to you, wired into your account deal as quickly and as often as possible. All right, now listen. This is like one of those difficult things, right? Because first we start out and we're like, you know what, $5,000, that's a nice amount. $10,000, I've never had $10,000 in my account ever. 15, 20, 25, that seems unbelievable. I mean, that you could pay cash for a car, you could pay off all your debts, you could do all sorts of amazing things. Having that big of a 5 figures in your bank account is something that most Americans will never face. That's just facts. That's just stats. That's just absolutely the truth. All right? But we have the ability to do it every single week. We have the ability to do this every 90 days. We have the ability to do this monthly. It just depends on what are we looking for. That's it, because we find what we're looking for. That's what our brains do. All right, Matt, will you put up that image, please, on what frequency illusion is? This is so important. Frequency illusion. Take a screenshot of this. Keep this in your mind. This is like, you know, when you go and you buy a car and you see that car everywhere, or your wife's pregnant or you're pregnant and you see pregnant women everywhere, right? This is what it is. It's the frequency illusion. It's always been around. These opportunities have always been around. One more time, Matt, just put it up and let me be in the corner here, because I really want to go through this part right here. It says the illusion in which a word, a name, or a thing that has recently come to one's attention suddenly seems to appear with improbable. Oh, that's a good word. I love that word. Improbable frequency shortly afterwards. It's the absolute truth. But remember, look at this. We're in the word, name, or thing, right? The thing, what we learn, something that we learn, all of a sudden it starts opening up, right? We started learning about wholesaling. Now we see wholesaling everywhere. We start learning about the BRRRR strategies everywhere. We start learning about sub-twos everywhere. We start learning about creative finance and rental portfolios and development and fix and flip. All of a sudden it's all over the place, right? Massive deals work the same. I'm going to give you instruction here. This isn't all going to be cerebral, all right? I'm going to give you absolute instruction on the two most important things, and then my co-host Rafael Cortez is going to really lay in on a couple different other strategies. It's going to be phenomenal. But listen to this. Look at this. Remember this, right? Remember this right here. This right here. This right here, okay? Is it blurry there? Are we good, Alejandra? Is it looking good? We're good. Okay, good. I want to make sure this is really clear. Remember, action plus results equals our education. Okay, our education, that's it. Taking the action, getting the results is the education. Once we take the action to go after bigger, badder deals, right? We start taking it, we get results. And that's our education. Now we learn it. And now all of a sudden we start seeing it everywhere. But it starts with what's going on here. It starts with this question. This question fundamentally, I'm giving you a little preview of what's to come here in the show in the first part of here. But fundamentally, this question has literally revolutionized my life, changed my life forever. I remember reading this and going through this. It was an old Tony Robbins. I think it was like The Giant Within or something like that, or Unlimited Power, his book or whatever. He started switching it from, you know, I can't do this, or how can I afford it, and all these other things. How can I do this? How can I can't, that's right. I can't afford it. I can't do this thing. I can't do that thing. Blockages, self-limited beliefs, shutting down your brain's beautiful, awesome power to go and find the things that you want in life. This question, if you put this at the top of one of these, you put this at the top of one of these things right here, and you actually answer the question, you take the time to actually think it through. How can I make $1 million? How can I have the schedule that I always wanted? How can I get out of my 9-to-5 dead-end job? How can I? This question right here is going to just blow you away, because once you start answering all of these things, all of a sudden that whole thing starts coming in. Frequency illusion starts kicking in. Frequency illusion starts kicking in. We start finding the answers once we get our brain to go after it. I am telling you, it all starts there. If you have the expectations that you're going to do big, massive deals and you're going to make more per deal than you ever have before, it will happen. It will happen. I am telling you, this is how it happens. This is technical. All right, this is the 2 steps, technically speaking, that really determine if you're going to make an average amount on your deal or if this is going to be a big, massive opportunity that's going to open up and break your brain. Because I'm telling you this, I know this to every single person, every man or woman that has ever done this business. Once you get something that earns you $50,000 of net profit to yourself, to your family's bank account, it breaks your brain. Right?
1,000%, man.
I mean, it breaks your brain. It breaks your brain. It is absolutely like this is it's changing the perception of what you think is possible. When you think 10 grand is possible, okay, 20, 50, 100. I'm looking at a deal, no joke, and I asked all 100 to text me once I hear from George, one of my TTP family members. He's got a deal that could net me $400,000 today. $400,000. Now, I remember when I got the first check for $42,000 and my nerves went off. My brain literally was changing. I was literally shaking. I had goosebumps. I couldn't believe it. Finally, after being like so in debt and like hand to mouth and month to month and like going through that, 42,000 changed everything. That's what I want for you. You have to get going. You have to put those mental antennas focused on massive deals. All right, it starts here. Number 1, they have to give you the price. When the seller gives you the price, this is where you get these big, amazing deals. Because the beautiful part is you get them what they want, what they expect, what they're hoping for, and it's a huge opportunity for you. So this is why on this show, on this channel, we really push you to pull out the price of these property owners as fast as possible and as much as possible. Don't just throw numbers at them if you can help it. You're going to know, you're going to feel it. Your spidey senses are going to tingle. You're going to get this intuition. Everything's going to feel good. Your belly's going to be on fire when somebody throws out a price at you and you're like, oh my gosh, are they serious? This can't be real. This can't be real. For real? They want that price? So if I can get you just to make sure, if I can get you this price and this time, are you ready to move forward and sign the agreement? Yes. Oh, I am telling you, it's one of the best days you're ever going to feel. It makes you feel electric. It is absolutely incredible, and it can happen. I'm telling you, it can definitely happen. And number 2 is you need to have a lot of buyers, because you could have the best deal in the world, but if you only have 1 or 2 or 3 buyers and they're kind of like nitpicking, or they're kind of, negotiating with you, or they're just not really, letting you know what the most that they're going to spend for this is, that's going to throw off the amount that you make. So you have to build a robust cash buyer database. TTPinsider.com. I'm telling you guys, TTP Insider, we have the Cash Buyer Pack. You need to get it. You need to download it. You need to implement it. Cash Buyer Pack at TTP Insider. I'm telling you, it's absolutely free. Just get it and implement it, and you are going to get bigger and badder deals, because when people are negotiating, it's the same way on the other side. If the seller is negotiating with several buyers, your deal size is going to be much smaller, right? Well, if you have a lot of buyers, on the flip side, you're the seller now. You're the one that's getting these deals bid up. It's absolutely incredible. So it starts with they giving you the price, and then you have the buyers, all right? And that's what we're talking about. That is what we're breaking down right here. This is the 2 things. You need to start really putting your mental antennas focused on getting deals that are bigger than $50,000, and you will find them. But you need these 2 things. They give you the price first, and you have a lot of buyers. Now, these are for big, massive deals. Welcome. Well, first of all, let me welcome everybody if this is your first time. If it's not, welcome to the Brent Daniels Live. We're talking about wholesaling. We're talking about real estate investing. We're talking about building wealth. And we are absolutely, incredibly, ridiculously blessed to have as the co-host from last week till hopefully forever. We'll see how long I can keep him here because he has done more deals than almost everybody on the planet, and he has more knowledge, and he's way more technical, way more analytical. So if you have that type of brain, it's really going to fit in here, and he's just an incredible guy. We call him Rafael Metro because he uses a lot of moisturizer, and he's very pretty. Cortez, here he is. Yes. I love it.
I had to make an entrance, bro.
I love
After
it.
that intro, I had to make an entrance.
It. So Rafael, listen, I just broke down any of that you disagree with? Any of that you want to add to? Okay.
Not at all. I mean, I think it has like getting a big, massive deal through the door. And I know it's the same thing that happened to me when I came, to my first deal. Also, it happens to students all the time. But it rewires your thinking. Yes. Now you start expecting different things, and I think beyond expectation, you start to find different opportunities. If you wire your thinking, or if you start to pay attention of, okay, this is an opportunity to come in, and you're methodical about that, you're going to see those opportunities as you're talking to sellers. So it's absolutely like it's there's a way of getting deeper deals.
That's it. And you have a strategy here that you use when you have a deal. It's maybe it's a closer deal. Maybe you're making 10, maybe you're making 15, maybe you're not making anything, and you need to negotiate, and you need to bring in facts, and you need to show and kind of analyze the way, some sellers need a lot of facts. Some sellers even some sellers that don't even are asking for the facts. You hit them with the facts to help them understand and rationalize your offer so that it really sticks and they don't back out 2 days after, 5 days after, a week after, right? So can you kind of break down, because we've got it here. So do you want to break that down the way that you do it? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. I think first off, it's a lot of people are reluctant to pull the trigger on anything because they don't understand, right? If once you take a logical approach and you explain to somebody why you're dropping that offer, why your anchor point makes sense, like the people are a lot more open to having conversations. Now, going back to talking about deep spreads and how to build that spread, it's I see most people out there just come in and then drop an offer and see if it sticks. It's almost like, throwing spaghetti on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. Like sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. It's not fully cooked, and then it falls off the wall, whatever. But we have like 4 ways that we build spreads into the deals on every single one of the seller appointments. It's the same approach, same method. If we get to the field where we're actually negotiating back and forth with the seller, this is exactly what we start to implement.
Got it.
So the first one, you want me to break them down like 1, 2, 3, 4? Or?
Quickly, and then before you do, guys, real quick, remember, this show is your show. This is a question and answer show. So make sure that you're getting into the comments section if you have any questions. We celebrate successes here. I need to ring that bell. If anything, if you have whatever, locked up a deal, sold a deal, whatever it is, we want to recognize you and celebrate your success. But so certainly put it in. There's no but about it. Put it in there, and we want to be able to answer your questions and keep this ball rolling. At 11 o'clock, we're bringing on Elijah Rubin with an incredible announcement about the Closers Olympics. If you don't know what that is, it is the Super Bowl for our business. The top closers, the top acquisition managers, business owners around the country get together, compete in a competition to see who is the best at closing the seller over the phone. It's absolutely bananas. I'm a judge on the final day on Sunday. It's going to be absolutely incredible, but Elijah's going to be here answering some questions, and he's going to be able to, he's going to break down what's going on with the Closers Olympics. So get into those 4 things real quick, and I'm going to, obviously I'm going to be standing over here looking at what you drew up here.
Sweet. So the first place where we build a cushion for spreads, and we call it a cushion because it's, you have a room to play, right? It's going to be using the comps. We don't go for the lowest of the low. That doesn't seem to work, anymore. You want to get an average, something that's logical. Again, the key word here is having a logical explanation of how you got to your offer point. The first one is we pull 5 comps. We have a range from highest to lowest. So on this one, we have an example, right? $100,000 up there to a very, to a low of $72,000 on one comp.
Right.
This is just 5 straight comps on a property that can be sold on the MLS, A or B. If it's decked out, brought to 2021 standards, you can sell it for $100,000 on the market.
Okay.
Right. So that's what we're looking at. Now, you're gonna find ranges. Like you always have, you're always gonna find a range of comps. So we pull 5 from highest to lowest, and we use the average of the lowest 3 to start the conversation. Right. The average of lowest 3.
So just to slow this down. So this is fixed up. You're looking at fixed up comps.
Yeah.
Here, this is the ARV, and you're going, okay, the best of the best of the best in the neighborhood's 100.
Right.
And I think this is important to talk about because you're asking the property owner what they think it would be worth fixed up, right?
Yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? So they say, I don't know. They're saying, I don't know what the price is fixed up, and you're going, okay, well, listen, these are the comps. Let me show you, right? And you're showing them these 3 comps based on they're the bottom 3 of the top 5 comps in the neighborhood, in the area, whatever.
Yeah, and more than
fixed up.
Exactly, and more than likely, like, it's like you're gonna find the properties that we go into are gonna be along that range. They're not gonna be tip top shape. They're not gonna have the newest granite countertops and all that stuff. So we take the average, and then that's our starting point. So my first goal when I go into a seller appointment, we're negotiating now, is to be on the same page as far as to how much the property is worth. All right, so we can both agree
when it's fixed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can both agree that the range can be somewhere in the average of that, in this case being $80,000, I'm winning. Why? Because the highest is at $100,000, right? So now I just created $20,000 worth of play, worth of cushion. Yeah.
Oh, I like that screen, Matt. That looks cool. I hope everybody enjoys it. That's really cool.
Dude,
so
I look like a superhero.
Yeah,
with
look
my
at you.
TTP shirt.
There's Honda. There's everybody. Okay. So listen. So here we go. So you're saying, okay, your starting point. You're saying, okay, fixed up, Mr. and Mr. Seller, do you agree that it's worth $80,000 based on these comparables? And they go, yes. And then you go, okay, well then we have to take into account repairs.
Right.
We have to take into account closing costs.
Yep.
We got to take into account profit. I mean, this is my business.
Right.
I'm an investor. I got to put in profit here. And then this is what I can offer you.
Exactly. So the condition of the house is the second objective. Okay, finding out what that budget is, and then whatever, working it into the deal, right? The third one is actually showing them the numbers, and that's we call it showing the numbers because we're telling them anybody who sells the property, doesn't matter if it's you guys or if it's us, is gonna take on some charges.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna have to pay fees, sales fees to agents, closing costs and whatnot. So we budget those into the actual offer price, and then we have that room for spread.
Love it.
So those are the first 3 ways on the acquisition side when we were buying the property.
Yeah.
All right. Now the magic. Can you go back to that?
Sorry.
To that screen.
Yep.
Thank you. So the cool thing is you go through those 3, right? So the comps is the first one, condition is the second one, showing the numbers and those expenses is the third one. Now you get the contract assigned. Now you have a deal in the pipeline. You have to push it over and you have to sell the deal, right?
Yeah.
We go back and we don't sell it based off of that 80,000 number.
Right.
We sell it off of that $100,000 number.
Right.
All right, to our end buyer, right? Because we have $195,000 as an 88 as a comp. So if they come in and do a good job, they should be able to sell it at the top of the market price, right?
Yep.
So we rework the numbers, and now you're building a 4th set of profits in there, and that's how you end up with average spreads of $25,000 on on a deal. Like average, I'm not talking $5,000 average. Like you really bump it up because you're methodical.
Let me ask you, what if the seller's like, I saw that my neighbor sold for 100. I think it could sell for 100. Then you have to go work off of that.
Yeah, well, you work off of that, exactly.
You don't want to tell them no.
No. Anything.
You don't want to tell them you're wrong.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to cause that friction.
Anything you get under that 100,000 number, it's a win, right?
Yeah.
It's a cushion to play around and then start the conversation from.
Love
But
it.
you want to make sure that you start the conversation based off of something that you can actually build on, right? With equity already into the deal.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 ways that we come in. We have this methodical approach about coming into bigger spreads, right? So
Love it. Good. Guys, if you have any questions about that, make sure that you ask them here. We are here for the next 100 minutes. So I think almost 99 minutes. So we are live all the way till noon Pacific time. Make sure you get your questions in. Make sure you put your successes in here. And if you guys need something comped, I would suggest that you get it in kind of this front half of the show, because once Elijah gets in here, we're going to be going bananas. If you guys don't know who Elijah Rubin is, he is the fire damage king, no doubt about it. If you have questions, if you're dealing with a fire damaged property, which I got a text this morning from Bernie, one of my students, that she's dealing with a fire damaged property, and a couple others actually are dealing with Chad is as well. So a couple different fire damage. If you run across those, which are actually kind of common in our space, and they're kind of tricky sometimes, I'm going to grill Elijah on it when he's here. We're going to be talking about the Closers Olympics. It's going to be absolutely bananas. So let's start cracking this thing open and start a dialogue on this show. All right, James, Davin, Ports, Brent, have you ever wholesaled a commercial property? I have. Small though, cheap, not anything really expensive. Listen, I think commercial is a phenomenal, and Rafael and I actually, Rafael's in an office building down the street here with one of the top commercial real estate investing coaches in the country, and so he's been able to pick off a lot there. But I think they're huge, phenomenal deals. What I would highly suggest you do, and Rafael, chime in here, what I would highly suggest you do is find all of the brokers, the commercial brokers off loopnet.com that work in that area, work in that zip code, work in that city, whatever it is, and call them up and see if they have buyers. Because believe it or not, I know that, cold calling is a newer thing for real estate investing. Commercial real estate agents all day long call on commercial buildings. They call the owners, they call buyers. They're doing it all the time. I just bought a commercial building down the street here, and I get calls all the time for people just seeing what I'm doing with it, or if I want to buy other things. I'm telling you, they are prospectors. They are proactive. So reach out to those agents just like you would a real estate agent, and typically you're not going to find deals from them because they're going to list them or they're going to buy them themselves. They know what they're doing, but they have a lot of buyers. What do you say?
The thing with commercial, it's just like we wholesale properties. We come in and then we rehab them. If you're a fix and flipper, the commercial properties, most of them have value add opportunities. They're underperforming, like on the rents and whatnot. So if you come in and then you find something that's underperforming, not necessarily physically distressed, but underperforming, meaning that the rents are not up to par. It's
highest
expensive.
And best use.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that happens in commercial that you can look into is it's a deficiency in management. So management in the commercial space a lot of times sucks, right? And if management sucks, you have low profits. If you have low profits, you have value add opportunity. Like that's the kind of deal you can put together. Love there it. And wholesale that like twice on Sunday.
Love it. Yep. And what I would do is I wouldn't overthink it, James. I would lock it up, put it in front of those guys, and get their opinions on price. If they're hot for it, if they've got buyers for it, you're in the right spot. If not, get their advice and say, what price do I need to be at? And if you have to renegotiate, do that. But remember, and what did they say? 70% of commercial deals are seller finance deals, guys. Seller finance. I'm going to bring some. We need to bring them on for commercial. We'll bring Trent on. And get them in here for commercial, and we'll do a whole show on it if that interests anybody, because I think that they're huge, massive deals. And as everybody's like, oh, everybody's called the tired landlord list, and everybody's called the driving for dollars list, and everybody's called the vacant list, and the pre-foreclosures. Who's calling commercial? And oftentimes people don't because they're owned by corporations, but there's plenty that are owned just by individuals.
And also, like, we think corporations and LLCs, right? And because it's a company, it's a registered company, they're unapproachable.
Right.
Like, no, they're gonna have this big building with a lady in the front that's not gonna let me talk to the owner. Like, no, they're mom and pop shops. A lot of them, they're just LLCs.
Yep.
And like it's more. You said it. 70% of the deals are seller financed.
Yep.
There's a lot less restrictions because it's not owner occupied type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of private funding for that kind of stuff. The opportunity is there. So
Yep.
I think it's a killer idea to bring these guys on. Yeah.
We'll expand on that. Thanks for bringing it up. It's awesome. Lobson, 407. Brent, on my way to lock up a contract. ARV is 79K, needs full rehab. Seller wants 50K, and I feel like being a duplex, it's possible vacant rent is 870 per unit. Lock that deal up. Lock that deal up. I'm telling you. I feel like 50K is going to be a little too tight. I like the rents. It just depends. It depends on if you're able to move this to somebody that's going to put it in their portfolio or how much rehab. But with a full rehab, 79, and he wants 50, I would try to get it a little lower. I would get. I mean, honestly, if you were my acquisition manager, I would tell you to get it at like 15 or 20. But if it's a play that you feel like you can move it for 55, 60 to somebody that wants to add it to their portfolio, fantastic. Go for it. I mean, the numbers make sense from a cash flow standpoint, so I'm cool with that. It just depends on how much, that property needs when you say full rehab. But I'm going to ring the bell because you're going on that appointment, and I love action. So it's a half bell ring. It's a half bell ring. You get the half bell ring because we get the full bell ring when the ink's on the agreement. All right, awesome. Rockefeller. Texas just started in Texas. Just closed my first contract. Come on. I love it. Congratulations. Closed my first contract. I hope that is you actually closed and got paid, but if it's just you closed and got that deal signed, get that deal sold. Remember, 3 parts of this business, everybody: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategy. So finding those leads, that's the engine of your business. Converting them, that's where the real sales skills, the real communicate. People say sales skills, and I get it, and I understand it, and that's the easiest one. It's really just effective communication. It's really just effective listening. It's really understanding, is a cash as is offer the right approach? Is it the right solution for this distressed property owner? That's it. Okay, and then exit strategy, you only got 3 types: buy it and keep it, buy it and flip it, or buy it and keep it, buy it and flip it, and buy it and or wholesale it. That's the 3. There you go. Jeez, that took a while to get out. Okay, we got a 2-part question from Handra. Okay, Alahi. Question: if I don't have a list of buyers, should I partner with Keyglee franchise to sell my wholesale deals to get the most money? Absolutely. Here's the thing. If Keyglee's got the big buyers, what I would do is, one, they give you air cover, right? Because they will comp the properties, let you know what you should be buying these at. And 2, they've got the buyers to sell it to. Now you're going to have to split the deal with them. And obviously I want you to be able to build up your own cash buyer database. I think that there is opportunity there for you to make some calls and start the conversation. Here's what I do. I would call 5 buyers and tell them about the deal and communicate and build that skill and just add them to your database. Now, if they don't want it, no problem, then bring it to Keyglee and they're going to get that deal sold. But I don't want you to fall into the habit of not building your own cash buyer database, because truly in this business, the real big asset, the value of your business, is the cash buyer database. It's something that Keyglee figured out a long time ago and has focused on, and that's what's made them so big. Do I tell Keyglee how much I want or get me the most money for my wholesale deal? Yeah, you want to see, I mean, you're going to have a conversation with them that says, what do you think you could sell this for? What do you think would be a good buy price? Or you can bring it to them and say, hey, listen, this is the price that I want for it. Do you guys want to buy it? And they might not. They might say, well, what'd you lock it up for? And you might tell them, and they say, well, listen, we can blast it out for you, but we're going to split the deal 50-50. So they've got a couple different packages there. They're phenomenal to work with. Really, really, really smooth, and high ethics, high morals, high level of communication. So you can't go wrong with it. But I do also, it is a crutch on some level. I do want you to build up your own cash buyer database. But if you're like, listen, I just want to go out there, I want to get these deals, I want them to sell it. Some people, listen, there are people literally in every single market, but especially in my market, that every single deal is disposed by Keyglee. That's just their decision. That's their decision. Their decision is, I just want somebody to sell these and take care of them. I'll find them. I'll negotiate them. You sell them. And they live a great life. So it just depends on what path you want to take. Devontae, could I market my contract if I haven't took pictures of the home for showing? It's tough, man. It's tough. It's like a dating profile with like a cartoon on it. You know what I mean? You're like swiping right or left or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it's like, you know, some like caricature or something. You know what I mean? Or it's like something that's not, it's not even a picture that's got a filter on it.
That's how people get catfish.
Oh yeah, yeah, it could be catfish. It's that's wholesaling catfishing on some level. Yes. You know what I mean, Devontae? Listen, unless it's a smoking deal and you have a very specific buyer that literally knows that property, can do a Google Maps and do a street view type of thing and get a good idea, you can. But I think it shows a couple different things to a cash buyer. One, how strong is that contract that you have, and how can they get access to the property if you can't even get access for pictures? So this kind of goes. But listen, Devontae, listen, I grew up, like, I was in the fires of bidding at the foreclosure auctions, right? Where literally the night before they come out with the bid price, you have to go drive these properties. You can't get into them. Some of them are occupied. Some of them are locked up, whatever else. It came down to people going in there with like those lock picking guns. You remember that, Rafael? Those little lock picking guns that pop open the doors if they were vacant. People would get in that way. Totally illegal, but people didn't care. There's so many properties in Phoenix that had them. But there are buyers that'll buy sight unseen if they just know the address and they know what's going on. But I would question, how strong is your relationship, contract, trust with that property owner, and what's preventing you from getting inside and taking pictures? Is it because they have a real big problem with the tenant and they're not going to get out, and you want the buyer to inherit that? That's tough.
One thing you can almost account for 100% of the time is that if you're not able to get in there and then take a look at the property or take a look at the actual like current pictures, the offer that you're making, it's probably going to be off. So you're going to end up making less on that deal, because once they walk it, if somebody gets in there by a, you know, like an act of a miracle or something like that, they're going to come back and renege on the price, because more than likely you're going to be locking something that's a little higher than you should, based on condition. Well,
and that's just on the seller side. I think it's even, I think you're really leaving money on the table with your buyer side. Because if you only have a tiny group of buyers that'll buy sight unseen with no pictures, if you just got pictures, you can open it up to the world, brother. So I would highly suggest that you do it. Find that solution. If the property owner truly wants to sell and cash as is offers their best option, or the option that they want, or the best option for them, then they should allow you access. Yeah. Awesome. Tim Sims, closing 2 land deals today. 11K in the bank. Let's go. Squad up. People, I can't stress that enough. That's right. I am telling you, squad up. I'd love to get a little bit of backstory there, Tim. How'd you squad up to get those deals? But 2 land deals today. You get a double ring, Tim. How about that? Come on, Tim.
And a guitarra.
And a guitarra. That's awesome. You bring it, bro. I love this. William Hill got a contract on an 8-unit and an assignable agreement back yesterday. Feels good. You better get that guitar out again. Here we go.
My fingers are gonna get tired. I gotta come up with something new for the next one.
Okay. Yeah. Think about it. You know everything. I mean, you know every song there is. Justin, Brent, I started my free trial in PropStream, Deal Machine, and Batch Skip Tracing, but now I'm completely overwhelmed. What next steps should I take? What steps should I take next? Also, how do I get a cash buyer list? Okay, Justin, fantastic. Good. I want you overwhelmed. You know what happens when you get overwhelmed? You get stronger. It's everything. You know, it's pushing you. It's giving you bigger endurance. You want to be a better swimmer? You need bigger lungs. You need to push your lungs. You want to be a better runner? You want to be a better business person? You need to talk to more people. You need to be able to be more effective at communication. I want you overwhelmed in the beginning. It's called the tornado. All right? It's a tornado. It's going around you all the time. You're feeling off balance all the time. Fantastic. Plant your feet firm and take action. Get a list of ugly houses. Get their phone number. call them. The only thing you're missing there, Justin, is batch dialer so that you can be more efficient and effective on the phones and talk to more people. I would highly suggest that. And then cash buyer list, go into TTP Insider Cash Buyer Pack. It's going to show you how to get the top 100 cash buyers. And what I would say is this, focus on getting these deals first. You've got dispo companies in pretty much every single market that can help you out, or squad up with somebody in your market that's successful. If you're in Phoenix, Brent at Wholesaling Inc. You can reach out to me, Brent at wholesalinginc.com, and we can help you out for sure anywhere in Arizona if you are. But if you're in other states, just find somebody like me in those areas that are doing business every single day. All right? Yeah. There you go. And then start building your cash buyer pack. And that's building it with real estate agents that are doing flips. That's built by going into your cash buyers there in PropStream and reaching out to them. That's posting to real estate investing groups. That's going to meetup groups. That's going and perhaps being real brave and talk to those, anti-social group down there at the foreclosure auctions that have huge cash buyer databases, but they usually get them from auctions, but they are phenomenal. We sell a lot of deals to that group. Yeah. Joseph, how to comp a property that has 2 dwellings on one lot, a triplex and a single family house, cannot be subdivided? Well, a couple different things, Joseph. One is you want to just look at first of all, you need to know what they're getting in rent. That's interesting, and that'll let you know. And I'd be curious to know what area of the country you're from, Joseph, because here in Phoenix, we base it off of comps, not cash flow. It doesn't really matter. People are buying these properties for tax tax benefits and for the appreciation, right? So we really base it off of comps. In the cash flow markets, you really are basing it off of your cash flow. How much are you getting for that property is going to help you determine what somebody's going to pay for it. All right. So those are the two different things. It just depends on what market and what price point you're in. Joseph, you could just put in what price point that's around, I can better advise you there. But either way, you're looking for comparables. What have recently sold in the area? I'd look for active and pendings. That's really important. I know that if you're just about 5 to 10% below anything that's actively on the market, you're going to move that really fast. And you can find all those through PropStream, through ttpdata.com.
One thing to look out for too is whether or not those are permitted.
Right.
We're going through a deal right now. It's a triplex, same type of scenario, 2 units and then a single family residence. We came into it and we started negotiating the property and everything. Then we found out that one of them was not permitted. It used to be like a storage room that got converted and whatnot. So even though somebody may want to buy it, and rent the properties and look at the cash flow side, whether or not they're permitted matters on the buy side with the seller, because you can definitely use that to leverage it. So.
See if it's permitted for sure. Love it. Let's go. Christopher, there he is. The model picture. I love it. Brent, when you are trying to assign your deal to hedge funds or like an offer pad, is anything different as opposed to if you were to sell to a regular cash buyer? Any nuances? Yeah, you just jump through more hoops. If you're selling to a hedge fund or offer pad, they want you to own those properties. Typically. So they don't mind if you bought it for $100,000, sell it to them for $200,000. They just mind if there's an assignment there. So typically you have to close on those deals. Have you had any experience with hedge funds that you assign the deals to? We've always closed on them and sold it to them, right?
Yeah, we haven't really assigned deals over to hedge funds.
Okay.
Directly.
Right. So the nuance is you have to own the property, which means you have to get insurance on the property, which means that you have to get utilities at the property, which means that they're going to do an inspection of that property. They might even do a drive-by appraisal, or what's called a BPO, a broker price opinion, where they literally pay a real estate agent $50 to $75 to do what's in their broker price opinion, their valuation on it. So there's a lot more hoops. They typically pay more, but just watch. I'm real curious to see now that Zillow has stopped buying pretty much everywhere. I know Arizona and Texas. I'd love to hear if other people, if they stop buying in other places as well. But those are their two biggest markets. They put a pause on their buying for right now. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the other ones fall in line. They kind of are like, little ducklings that follow each other all over the place. So.
One thing, give yourself some additional time on the buy side, because if you're going to sell to a hedge fund, they ask for 21 days. We usually have like a 10-day closing, standard, right? It's a standard on the sell side. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, on the sell side with the buyer, for the buyer to come in and close within 10 days. Yeah. But usually hedge funds, they take longer. So add yourself, some room in there, just in the event that it gets delayed.
Awesome. Good question. Giovanni, how do I wholesale a property that's been through flooding? Well, oftentimes you have to get the remediation done, right? Or if none of that is done, you just have to take it into account. So remember, Giovanni, it all comes down to price. You know what I mean? It all comes down to the price of that property and what the seller's willing to let that go for. Typically, in a flooding situation, they're going to have an insurance check in their pocket. The insurance has paid them out for the damages, so they already have that money, plus they have the property. It's like fire damage. It's exactly like fire damage. One, make sure that they've already got their insurance claim. Elijah's going to tell you different, but it's real advanced strategies that he has where he negotiates what you get from the insurance company. It's bananas. He gets paid like 1,000 different ways on fire damage properties, which we can go into. But flooding is the same. Just make sure that they're getting that. They've got the money in. They've already gotten paid, and that they're reasonable with their pricing, and they should be if the property's pretty destroyed, needs complete renovation and remediation. Especially if there's been mold or whatever else, they got to rip out a lot of those things. So there you go. Treat it like a fire damage. Alex, do we use the same purchase contract for commercial deals to lock it up from our TTP program? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, in there it's going to show what the legal description, what the tax ID number is. That's really what you need just to make sure that they understand, because sometimes mailing addresses and property addresses don't really line up with the way that the county records what that property is. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same. Anything you need, Alex, reach out. And by the way, I didn't do this yet, but Matt, will you put this is for the people, and just to talk about it, and this is a humble brag on some point, but this is also like evidence. I think that having evidence is really important, but just all these different big, massive deals that people text me about, every single week, every day, whatever, some of maybe not massive deals every day, but I get these texts all the time. Just go through them. I mean, just go through them. I mean, it's just 38K, 45, 78, 100,000, 110, 130, 35 coming, 2 for 40K, 52,000. I mean, it's just bananas, guys. I get these all the time. These are my people. These are my TTP students. If you're interested in that, guys, it's ttpcall.com. TTP call, right? TTP call, is that it, Matt? Jesse's usually here, but ttpcall.com. If you're interested in the coaching program, get in there. All right, Austin Ball, come on. 13.5. What do you got for Rafael? What do you got for
Well, brothers, profits are sexy, so.
Oh, Austin, there you go. Oh, come on.
Nice.
Keep it going. Now we got to be.
What?
22.5.
Got to do it twice.
This is fun. I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are. This is awesome. Dario, congratulations. Kayla, Mr. TTP, I just started virtually, and I keep coming across homeowners who won't tell me the condition of the property, nor do they have pictures. Yes, Kayla, that will happen. Those are called people that'll never do business with you. Okay, move on. Remember, here's the thing. This is what I want you to remember, Kayla. 200 to 1. You're going to have 200 conversations to get one deal. All right? You're going to have 200 conversations. 180 of them are going to be these type of people, or they just flat out tell you no. 19 of them are going to be like, yeah, throw me an offer. If the offer's good, let me know. One of them is going to be serious. One of them is going to trade speed and they're going to want speed and convenience on this. They're going to trade potential equity, and they're going to want to just be done with these properties. That's what you're looking for. You shouldn't have to be convincing people. You shouldn't be like that word should be the furthest from you. Don't convince anybody. Just find deals. Listen to me. We're deal finders, not deal creators. every single time. All right? That's the only way that this works. All right? So find the people out there that truly need your service, your help, your offer. All right, Kayla, and get rid of all these other people. Don't worry. You know, if they won't tell you the condition of the property. Now, listen, if they won't tell you because they don't know the condition of the property, that's fine. You can make some educated guesses educated estimates just based on, looking at Google Maps, overhead, aerial, and, the front picture of the property through Google Maps. So if you got a kind of an idea, then you can use the, do you have the little rehab estimator? Sorry, Matt, I'm throwing things at you left and right here today, but use this estimator. Is a perfect no. If you live in a market where the average price is over, 500,000, add 20% to this. If you run across things that are major, roof, air conditioning, pool equipment, add 5,000 each time. Maybe an unfinished basement, that type of thing. Add 5,000, depending on the size, obviously. But listen, guys, don't be the guy or gal that's like, well, that doesn't work in this specific situation. Like, that it'll work for most. Just play around with it. If you have 500,000, if it's above 500,000, add 20% to that chart, and any additional major items, add 5,000, and you'll be in good shape. Trust me. All right. Gwendolyn, how do I approach a hotel chain that started 2 new builds and then abandoned them when COVID hit? They are an eyesore, and the area is hot here in Michigan.
Call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a deal.
Listen, here's the thing. If it's a hotel chain, you're going to have to talk to a lot of different people. All right? You got to go and you got to call in and maybe talk to, whoever at their corporate office and ask, hey, listen, I'm interested in a property. But typically they've got big enough pockets that they're going to either finish that project or truly they're going to get bankruptcy protection. And that's going to either keep it going on or it's going to help them do whatever. So that deals with, typically when you're dealing with that big, in my opinion, you're going to be spinning your wheels. I mean, you could call them up and have some conversations, but I think it's going to be surface level. And I think if they're going to sell it, they're going to sell it with a commercial broker. They're going to put it out there and try to get rid of it. Or they're going to try to find more money, more investment, more hedge funds to come in and be their financing partner to be able to do that. So, and then who are you going to sell it to, Gwendolyn? You know what I mean? Who are you going to sell to hotels to? I mean, if they're smaller hotels, maybe there's an opportunity there, which it might be. But if it's just 2 new builds that they've paused, people pause. People go and pause all the time. There's a building by Alejandro where Alejandro and I live. I live here. Alejandro lives over here. There's a building over here that's they've been building that thing for 3 years. I mean, they've been going for 3 years. So, those things take time. I wouldn't even let it hit your brain. Don't let it live in your brain rent free at all. I would just move past personally. But if you want to dig into it and you want to really go out there and get that experience, call the corporate office and see what you can find out. B.U. Bassey, I have $2,000. What should I put my money towards in my business? I just started and don't really know what softwares to use. Very easy. ttpdata.com. ttpdata.com. That is PropStream. It's $97 a month. $99 a month, I think now, and that's where you pull your list. That's where you can pull your comparables. That's where you can find your cash buyer database. It's an unbelievable tool. You can truly read between the lines and get a lot of information that maybe the seller's not telling you off the bat to see if a property is worth your time. So there's $99. Batch Dialer. Batch Dialer with all the bells and whistles is $150, but it's going to do all the legwork for you. 100% that. You want to reserve about 2,000 addresses, which is going to cost you $300 for skip tracing, and that's going to keep you busy for a while. Batchskiptracing.com. Batchskiptracing.com. Use the TTP code, and you get it reduced. And then Deal Machine. 40, yeah. $40 a month with the $10 off TTP. Use TTP discount for your driving for dollars and build up that list. 80% of new real estate investors get their first deal from driving for dollars, and wholesalers. Same. So drive for dollars, build that up. Those are the 4. Brendan, if I can't afford a dialer at the moment, what's the next best thing to do to be efficient at cold calling? You just got to call. Either call or knock the doors. You know what I mean? But I would do anything that I could, Brendan. I'm serious. Like I was selling my old TVs. I was selling shoes. I sold a Nintendo Wii. I sold a go-kart. I sold all sorts of different things to afford the dialer, for real. I used to tell people to, sell their plasma and their blood, but, that's aggressive. I mean, there's probably other things that you could go through before donating some plasma or selling it. So, I would do whatever you can to get that extra money, for real.
Time is money.
Time is money. Time is money.
Time you'll save with that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's gonna be. The investment is ridiculous. The return, the ROI on a dialer is infinite. It's incredible.
100%. I think a lot of the times, like, it comes down to rewiring the thinking from an expense to an investment, but it is an investment. It's not an expense. Although it may look like overhead in your business, meaning, stuff that you got to pay for. At the end of the day, like, how much is your time worth? Would you rather sit there and dial for 8 hours and reach 50 people, or do you want to sit there and dial for 8 hours and reach 2,000 people?
Yeah.
Yep. It's you're getting a lot more tries,
yep.
for deals. So yeah.
Fuego Berry. How do you respond to how did you get my number? There's an online database. I send in the addresses, and if they have phone numbers for it, they send it back, and sometimes I get lucky. That's it. Online. You can say that if you really want to shorten it. If they're a driver personality and they're like, how'd you get my number? I bought it. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I would use one of those 2 responses depending on the personality, but, I bought it. Just matter of fact, you bought it from where? Oh, it's an online database. You send in addresses and it gives you the phone numbers. Everything's online these days. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So, well, remove me. That's typically the next one. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Immediately. So don't fight with people that tell you that they're on the do not call list if you're not scrubbing it, which you should be scrubbing it. Don't mess with people that are screaming at you and are mean. Don't mess with aggressive people. Like, remember, these people are going to be in your brain. These people are going to be what you're dealing with, what you're thinking about. Like, that drains energy. You want things that energize you, not drain you, especially if you're doing this part-time, especially if you're coming into this thing part-time and you're not going full-time in this thing, and you only have a select amount of time. You need to be energized by this business. And if you bring in these really negative, pessimistic, aggressive, they don't communicate effectively, property owners, it's going to sit and weigh in your brain. It's going to prevent you from taking action. It's going to bring everything down a little bit. It's going to take you from a 10 to like a 7, like that. And I don't want you there. I want you 10. I want this energizing you. I want you to feel electricity when you're making calls, when you're following up with leads, when you're going on appointments. That's what I want. But if you deal with these people that are negative, they're just like they're just like shadows. You know what I mean? They're blocking out the light. They're blocking out all that energy. The singularity. Brent, my name is Asa, and I'm 19. I just closed my first deal this weekend. It was only a spread of 3,000, but I'm happy to close my first one. Listen, that is the most important one. You just went from faith to fact. I say it all the time on here, but you crossed the bridge. You had faith that you could do this, and now it is a fact that you can do this. I love it. I love you. Congratulations. Here we go.
Because that was a desperado move.
I love
Definitely.
it. I love it.
You know what? $3,000 for a 19-year-old. That's a lot of cash.
That's a lot. Well, not only that, but the what is going on in
Here.
Asa's brain right now,
the mindset shift
is incredible. And what I will say, Asa, is one of the hardest things to do at 19 is to not compare yourself to somebody. right? Not only not compare yourself to somebody else, but don't compare yourself to where you think you should already be. All right? Enjoy the process, the journey, this whole thing, this self-discovery, this pushing through self-limits, this expansion and evolution that you're going through is so dynamic and so exciting. Just live in it. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about what you think that you should be doing. Work today. Have vision, have goals, have things that you're talking to. Write down, how can I, right? That's, how can I do this, whatever it is. Start working that brain, start getting that thinking. Most people don't think. Let's just be honest. Most people don't think. It's either they know something or they don't. And if they run into some stumbling block, they just stop. If you literally sit down and write, how can I, at the top of a page, and I'm not just saying you, Asa, I'm talking to everybody. If you write how can I at the top of the page and then you write the answers to it, your brain is going to find find the path, find the way to do it. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. And then the only time it doesn't happen is when you're on that journey, you go, I don't know if I really want to be a billionaire. That seems like a lot of stress. I don't really know if I want to do this or that. I don't know if I really want to own 1,000 doors. I'd rather just be the bank or whatever else. Like, that's fine. That's just changing what you feel is going to energize you and bring you energy. Remember, it's not time management. We got 168 hours. It's not even priority management. You could figure that all out. It's energy management. Like, that's everything, is energy management. How do you manage that? How do you increase that? You increase it by being around incredibly enthusiastic people, right? With people that are pointed in the same direction as you, that are doing the same thing as you, that just have a sparkle in their eye and a fire in their belly. That's how you do it. And then you do it by taking action and building up your confidence and self-esteem and really leaning on your courage to go out there and do stuff that feels uncomfortable. That's a long answer, Asa, but I'm celebrating you. Celebrate you. There you go. Wayneg 2001 U. What is the best way to find someone to do driving for dollars? Well, it just depends. I mean, you could get a virtual assistant like this off of Upwork or Fiverr or Start Virtual or any of those companies that are going to do virtual driving for dollars. Very easy to do with Deal Machine. They've got an attachment and they Google drive for dollars. If you want somebody out there in the streets, I would highly suggest you find somebody that's retired and wants something to do. They are the most long-lasting. Pay them anywhere from $12 to $20 an hour to drive for dollars, and I would pay them hourly, not per deal, I'll pay you $100 per deal, or I'll give you this per deal and that. First of all, you can't give referral fees unless you have a real estate license. Not that it's somebody's going to knock down your door, but it might not be as long-lasting as you think. And the bigger part is they just don't last. If you don't pay people hourly, they're gonna find something else to do. So I would find a retired person, pay them hourly, or I'd do a virtual $3, $4, or $5 an hour virtual assistant that's gonna do it through virtual driving for dollars. JC Wholesale, I'm getting a hard time getting the price first out of the sellers. Any tips? Yeah, absolutely. Remember, you gotta follow the plan. You got to follow step by step. First step, what's the condition? Second step, get their timeline. Third step, get their why they want to sell. By the way, first two steps will get you step 3, which is their motivation. And then the fourth is their price. But you get the fourth, you get the price out of them after you got the first 3, because they're going to be opening up the conversation. Very rarely are you going to throw out, hey, how much would you consider, for a cash as is offer? You don't have to put another cent into it. There's no real estate fees. I pay all the closing costs for an offer like that. How much would you take? And they're like, well, I don't know. You tell me. You called me. How much do you want to give me? These type of things. Great. Get into the condition. Condition, timeline, motivation, then the price. Okay, well, it sounds like, that you're ready to go. I just really, every seller that we talk to, JC, and I'm role-playing this as you're the seller. Every seller, JC, has like a magic number that if they hit that number, they will sell their property. So I just want to know, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. What would that number be for you? Any other ways that you like pulling them out?
By deduction too, you can tell them if I were to cut 2 checks and one's for the mortgage, and one's your walkaway number, how much would you need to make?
Love it.
And then, well, I need to make on this property $50,000. And then if you find out what the mortgage amount, you know the mortgage amount is $90,000.
Yeah.
Like you know the buy price is $150, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's different, like almost indirect ways of coming about it. A lot of times when they push back on that price point thing, it's because moving in fast. You're moving in too fast for that question.
I love it. Perfect. I love that. What if I cut you 2 checks, one for the mortgage, one for the profit you want to walk away with? What do those 2 checks need to be? I love it. It is time, everybody, to bring for the first time to Brent Daniels' live show here, Mr. This is the Closer Olympics founder. All right, this is the fire damage king. This is a guy that does an amazing amount of business and is loud out there and does it all right. It is Elijah Rubin. Come on in.
Hey, what's going on, sir?
You get some music. This one's yours.
Oh,
This one's going
perfecto.
to be mine.
Excellent.
So I told them, you know, we haven't talked a lot about the Closes Olympics, so I wanted to get you on here, and I wanted you, because, you know, listen, you know as well as I do, it takes some time. Thank you. It takes some time. People are wait till the last moment.
Right, to hop
People
in.
wait till the last moment. They're like, is it worth it? Can I get the time? This is, first of all, this is 3 days?
3 whole days, yep.
3 whole days of what?
So this is the most entertaining and education, literally a sales experience where you, day one, this could be an open run trial. So that for people who maybe don't have a brand, maybe be an acquisition for somebody else, or it might just be a ridiculous closer in Idaho that nobody knows about.
Sure.
They're going to be able to put their skills to the test in front of thousands of people, day one. Then day two, we're going to take one of those people, put them with the rest of the closers, and then it's Closers Battle Royale
That's
going
Saturday.
down on Saturday.
Okay.
And then Sunday's going to be the finals, where we're going to know who's going to be the king or queen closer.
Right.
We have ladies this time.
I know. Listen, my pick is Lauren off the bat. She's she does so many deals.
Right.
So many deals. I mean, it's going to be bananas. Will you pop this up real quick for everybody? Because this is bananas. I can't believe. So $97 for 3 days.
$97 for 3 days. We want to make it undeniable where people could go ahead and get access to this. Everybody have the opportunity now. I had a lot of people hit me up, Elijah, how did I get last year's replay?
Look at the judges. Yeah.
Wow. Look, I mean, the judges we have here.
Come on.
The closers we have here. We have the best closers in the game. We have the best judges who are closers themselves in the game, giving you play-by-play breakdown. And for those who asked me last time, hey, how do we get last year's Closers Olympics replay? There's a VIP special, it's like $297. You get last year's replay, you're gonna get this year's replay plus access.
So this $97 for this Closers Olympics, that is, do they get the replay with that?
No, for $97 you just get access to this year's competition. All right, we want to make it super affordable for everybody virtually.
Right. I love it. Guys, I'm telling you, last year, this went bananas. I mean, it was the first time, and people were just going crazy on social media for this thing. I mean, it was just closing after closing after closing, and literally, the way that this is structured is, these are real live calls. These are real live leads that are put into a system. Are they on the dialer this year?
So we're using the Mojo dialer. Hopefully Aaron doesn't get the bad end of the stick, you know. But we're calling your guys' leads.
Right.
So you're able to send your leads in, pay $97, and you can walk out with. And one guy, we closed one deal that Max almost bought his deal. He made over $8,000 on a deal I helped close that we made money together. He was able to learn. He had his whole office watching it.
You ran out of time last year.
Last second. It's hard. I had a couple buzzer beaters, but the finals, I ran out. I know.
Yeah. It's awesome. So, guys, if you are interested in that, if you feel like you want to improve your skills, if you're like, I want to be a fly on the wall, like in some of these guys' offices. I mean, look at the lineup. It's absolutely bananas. The fact that, you know, these people are going to go out there in a competition, get 30 minutes to call these leads, try to close it over the phone through DocuSign or some sort of electronic signature. It's bananas. It's a lot of fun. And the people on there are absolutely incredible. incredible. So make sure that you check that out. Make sure that you get in there. $97 to watch it. And what is it for the recording and all the whole thing?
So it's $297 if you get a course, you get all the other things, all the replays. And I think what's really important, yes, we're calling your closer leads. That's valuable itself. Yes, you're able to watch it, but being able to see 12 different styles and being able to learn while you earn in the most entertaining position, there's no other sales competition of its kind. This is it.
Love it.
And you're going to see if your guru's guru can close. And you're going to hear the feedback because, I mean, a lot of people gave a lot of shout out to you, Brent, last year. The playback, the insight they give. Yeah. You ever watch, some of the basketball games? Some of the announcers like, man, I don't know if you should be giving any advice. Right. You are a solidified, qualified closer, and the insight, I think that's the part that most people don't realize. You're going to get a lot of information from what you judges are noticing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, this is like our Super Bowl. It's phenomenal. Everybody loves it. It's a huge event. Make sure you get in there. Everybody should be there. It's not even close. So get in there. They just fill out on the website?
Yeah, you fill out on the website. Awesome. I know a couple people asked too about, all right, how do I get into the open run?
Right.
So if that's you, if you want to be a part of the open run, we're doing the open run tryouts this Friday. This Friday. So all you have to do, you can go to Elijah Rubin Instagram or Alex or Keith Real Estate Diddy's Instagram. There's a little link. You fill out your form. So we got to send another video so we can hear that you could close. You send in the information and then register for Friday at 4 p.m. PST. We're having about 12 to 15 people. They're going to role play head to head in front of a couple hundred people.
Love it.
And we're going to take those 6 people and they're going to be on day 1.
Love it. And listen, a lot of people on here know Pace Morby. He's a judge. Obviously, Sean Terry, Max Maxwell. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely banana. Christina Aguilera. I mean, every single coach is phenomenal. Some of them are brutal. Some of them have a little bit of sugar to it. Like I try to do it.
You did nicely.
It's going to be good. It's going to be really, 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 really unbelievable. So here's the way that this is set up. Okay. This show for the next 53 minutes, we answer question and answers just coming at us. You ready?
Let's go. Let's
so
get
listen, guys. If this is your opportunity, and I'm not kidding you, if you have questions about fire damaged properties, there is nobody in the country that's even close to what Elijah knows, the experience that he has, and pretty much all over the country.
All over the country. Yeah.
And you make money several different ways.
Yeah.
And you sometimes you negotiate the insurance claims.
Yep.
Right. I mean the whole thing.
Yeah, you can get up to 3 checks on one of these fire damage deals. We help a lot of students all around
Break
the country.
that down real quick.
So the first check is a wholesale check. If you're following Mr. TTP, you're talking to people. You know how to buy low, sell low. I won't even get into that check. The second check is what we call the supplemental claim. A lot of people are unaware of what this was. I was unaware of it. It's really a fancy word of saying the extra insurance money that you're getting. The homeowner, 80% of the time is only getting 80% of the money, but they don't know it. So we like to empower, educate, and empathize with them. So we let them know any money you receive from the insurance company is 100% yours.
Right.
Then you're going to also get 50% of any new money we may happen to capture. And then any
so 50% of the 20% that isn't captured, right?
Correct.
So the homeowner's getting that 80%.
Yep, they get
that's their insurance claim, but there's still 20% sitting there.
Exactly, a lot of times. And so we bring our policy expert, which is a public adjuster, in. We let them do all the work. We bring the table, and if they don't find an extra penny, the homeowner doesn't pay a dime for their time. So it's a no cost, no loss proposition. Yep. And then the third check is just, it's on the table. Why let it go? And you're going to help them replace that property with another property. You can wholesale them another property because you cashed out the property from them initially and you got them more insurance money.
Sure.
When they're closing escrow, you know how much money they're working with.
Yeah.
By the time you close, have 4 or 5 properties waiting for them. You help them 3 ways and you get paid in 3 ways. Yeah. Or you could,
if you have a license, you can refer them to a real estate agent that goes and finds them a house and get a slice of that. We do that all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
3 ways. Yep.
All right, good. What are we doing here, Matt? Oh, okay. There we go. Okay.
Thank you. See,
let's open it back up to questions here, and we're going to rock and roll with Elijah Rubin answering some questions that we have on the show.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, Jose. Brent, when driving for dollars, do you go to specific zip codes where most cash transactions have been made, or do you recommend just driving anywhere? Driving for dollars is great, have gotten leads, but wanting to sell in coming months. They're wanting to sell in coming months. Yeah, Jose, remember, whenever you're reaching out to a property owner and you're being proactive, you're catching them typically before they've made the decision to go ahead and move or sell this property or close it out. So typically it's a 90-day window from the time that you talk to them to the time that you actually get paid on these deals. So 1, you have to be consistent. 2, you got to be patient. 3, you got to have really strong lead follow-up. All right. Now, when it comes to driving around and where you pick, I just go for older properties. If it's in town and the town's buzzing and the inventory's low, then you can go anywhere. I actually like going on the outskirts in Phoenix here because that's where you find some phenomenal deals. Some of the Buckeyes, some of the El Mirages, some of the Apache Junction, some of these things that, you know, aren't the best areas, but that's where everybody's getting pushed because the market's so fast. What do you suggest when you go after specific properties?
Yeah, like what he said, anything you do consistently is what pays off over the course of time. And we give a lot of our students this simple formula too. Is a 3x3 formula. Okay. All right. So for that first week, for that first day, you want to call that lead 3 times.
Got it.
All right. And then for the next week, 3 times a week.
Now, are you going triple tap or you call them?
No. You want to call them. Then you want to wait 2 hours, call them. Okay. Wait another 2 hours to call them. Most people won't be that aggressive. Yeah. You will, because at the end of the day, you could be possibly pushy or actually broke. It's up to you. All right. I prefer to be possibly pushy. Then you do 3 times a week for that first week. Then 3 times a month until one of you two dies.
Love it.
All right. And then the last thing I'll say on that, go to dead ends. Dive down dead ends. Most people don't go down dead ends to find those little gems because I don't want to make a U-turn. You will, and you'll get those gems that everybody else's passes on.
And if that dead end is a lot, a vacant lot, you got to go after that. Yes. You got to go after that. I'm telling you. Well, we saw today, you know, we celebrate a lot of successes on here. Anybody that's closed deals, 2 deals for $11,000 is one of the ones that we rang the bell on earlier today.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Love it. Salute.
All right. From IG Mavs. Brent, what's your thoughts on using double close method rather than traditional assignment agreement? And Rafael, how often are you doing a double close, honestly?
Not too often.
Right.
I mean, most of our stuff, actually, lately, all of our stuff has been assignments. If anything, if you can save the title, officer will do a blind HUD, which helps a bit. But double closings, just, I mean, I think it got to a point where it just increases the fees. And you can do a lot without having to double close.
Love it. Yeah. Pleasure. Do you have a hard and fast rule? Like if I'm making 40 grand on this deal, or if I'm making 80 or 20, or you know, Jamil has a rule where it's like 25, I think. 20 to 25,000, he's going to double close it, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to assign it. Do you have any rules like that? Have you seen it bite you? What have you dealt with? Talk to me.
You make me have some flashbacks. Some flashbacks. After, like I said, doing this 17 years, I didn't even know about blind HUDs until like 4 years ago, right? So I have a simple rule. Anything over $10,000. I double close.
Really?
Without a doubt, because I had one lady, this old lady, she saw how much I was making on my assignment fee. She got up out of the title company, left to the house, couldn't get over for 2 days. I had to pay for her to go, her and her husband to go on a cruise to get her back to the signing table. So it's worth the extra fees.
What did you make on that deal?
So I end up making $32,000 on it. And so after I made 32, she like anything over 10 grand, I don't play games. It's worth paying a little extra, especially if you do more.
Got it. Yeah. And then I am the exact opposite. I will assign everything. If it's 90,000, if it's 100,000, I don't care. I'm serious. I did we've done a 92,000, 92 and some changes here. Wow. It just, it just depends. And we just did it straight up. So I think it just depends on what your strategy is. I think that the more it's interesting, the more that you can show that you close on properties and that you've been on title, I think the more that you can then bring that to people that you can raise funds from. You can show that you've done these deals. Like, look at all these deals that I've bought and flipped and done all these things. I'd like to flip more properties. I need more capital, that type of thing. I think it's a great way to build a really strong, effective resume. You could just slam a big thing of these closings on the table, or at least place, showing that you were on title at some point, and that really helps out to raise funds. So I think that that's a great way to do it. I like saving on the cost on it. I like assigning the deal, but a lot of people prefer to do a double close. The buyers actually prefer to do a double close because it shows the price that they're actually buying it at. And then when they fix it up and put it back on the market, and the appraiser comes back and looks at it, they're like, "Wait a second, you bought this thing for $100 and you're selling it for $450? What happened here?"
Right.
You know what I
numbers.
mean? But if they say, "Oh, you got it for $100 and I made $100," they got it for $200, and then they bought it. It records differently and it helps them out, and it makes it a little bit smoother for the appraisal. So if it works better for your buyers, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Isaiah, go ahead.
So, what are your methods for finding fire damage leads? I know you can call the fire department, but what are some other ways? Great question, Isaiah. All right, so a couple different ways. One, driving for dollars is always going to be an effective route. It's very easy. Look for the house with the tarp. All right, look for the house with the fence around it. Another good thing I really recommend doing is, you could go on Facebook and Twitter and look at fire department, other leads, other notifications. We give some of our fire damage students this thing called IPN. IPN is another way. It's just another alert that you could go ahead and get. One good thing about the fire damage niche list, you can't go and buy a list, which I love about this. All right, I like it. Anytime it's a little harder to get into. So 50% of those leads, I'll say, only have the major cross streets. So you're able to take the ones that don't have the actual full address. You take those addresses and the major cross streets, and then you go driving for dollars because it's going to give you the major cross streets. You go to those, you drive down and see what the actual addresses are, and then you actually have the whole addresses there. Now you're the only one who's really going to have that list because 80% of wholesalers, if you can't just click and post and send it out to my VAs and get a wire sent to me in my Bugatti and get out of here, they ain't going to do it, right? So that's one thing you're able to do. Make it simple. That's another good thing to do. Like to drive for dollars and then get those notifications and drive them yourself. Love it. Solid way.
Isaiah, let me. Something that I just saw, and I think that this is like a funny hobby that my wife and I do, but we read people's comments and things they post on Nextdoor. You know that app, Nextdoor, right? Because we're in the same neighborhood, we're in the same area, and there was one about the neighbor's house is on fire, right? And it says the neighborhood that they're in. So I mean that's an interesting thing too. Now Nextdoor that keeps you like literally in your area, but I think it's a few miles around, so you might be able to get into Nextdoor, the app Nextdoor, put in, search by fire damage, whatever else, and find some opportunities that way. It's going to be few and far between, but you might be able to catch that one deal that makes you that $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 this year. It's worth, looking into. And the comments on there are just ridiculous and hilarious.
It's fun, right.
It's hilarious. It's the funniest thing ever. So anyway, you going to the Suns game tonight?
No, I wanted to, but I have date night with Jennifer, and if I don't want hell to happen to me.
Yep. Got it. Here we go, Charles Robertson.
Yay! Ring the alarm.
Come on.
Yay! Let's go. See you, Charles. Let's go.
I love it. First deal. Do you remember your first deal?
Oh, like yesterday.
Didn't it just? I mean, we were talking today. Today's show is about doing massive deals, doing bigger deals, doing giant deals, right? And it's all about, tuning your mental antenna into finding these opportunities, looking for these opportunities, believing that you can do these opportunities, and really breaking it down and just making it so that, it's like that car that you buy and then you see everywhere.
Right, red car theory.
That's it. That's it. The frequency illusion is what it's called. Frequency illusion. And so it is because it's always there.
Right.
But
it comes to your eyes.
We don't see it. We don't recognize it because of the frequency. So if we have the frequency and we believe that we're going after that and we have the confidence that we can get bigger deals, we do.
100%. What we think about, we bring about.
But I talk about, when you start in this business, you're building it off faith.
Yeah, a lot of faith.
Faith that you can do this. And when you cross that bridge to fact and get your first $6,400 deposited into your account,
like 604 $100,000 is what
Yeah.
you really feel it like. Because
Yeah.
when you make that first evidence, you get that evidence because you see everybody else closing deals. But when you know it happens for you, Charles, you never could go back. You know, the chicken nuggets and fries, once you have steak now.
Yeah.
Now you know what you get and now you know what you have. Just do more of them. You got it now.
Chicken nuggets and fries and steak. I like it. I like it.
It's hard to go back.
That's awesome. So keep it going. I love it. Congratulations. That is like a huge, huge, huge milestone. And we celebrate you, Charles, for sure.
Yes, sir.
J-Ram, what's the best way to tell someone who I am if they ask, who's this? I'm a local home buyer looking to buy in the neighborhood. Are you thinking about something? Whatever. You could go any different way, but I'm just a local home buyer is typically what we go with. What do you typically go with?
You know, at the end of the day, guys, you want to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's first thing. And I like to have fun. You're going to take a lot of verbal abuse if you're on the phones. All right. So have fun with it.
You
Sometimes.
do have fun.
Yeah.
That last close of the Olympics, bro. You are just having the ball. Yeah. Anyway, so what do you say?
Just do it, right? So sometimes, depending on what the personality type is, depending on how they ask, who is this, or who is this, time depending on how they ask.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm just a common neighbor here, just looking for some respect. No, honestly, this is Elijah. I just want to follow up with you. See how I threw that little pause, little joke in there. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they hang up. It's okay. I'm just looking for some respect. Is that all right? RESPECT. I'll say that to them someday. I'm going to sing along with us. Have fun with it. Try different things. And you should be experiencing this on your role-playing sessions, too.
Yeah. There you go. Rafael?
We need to drop some of that gold in there. We go straight. I mean, we're just straight up. You know, this is Rafael from Pulse Capital. We're buying properties in the area, but we identify ourselves. It's not. A lot of people hide it. A lot of people, to us, is just we're either a local buyer or do the name of the company.
You know, one other thing I think I do too.
We're not. I don't think we're having enough fun.
Yeah.
Fun with it. Listen, people
break into that.
Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And so one thing I like to do, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, this is Elijah. Elijah who? Oh, you gotta act like you don't remember me? You want that old high school vibe. No, honestly, you haven't talked to me before, but I am very interested in buying your property, but you're probably not interested in selling it, are you?
Right. The pull away. I love it.
Just do a little bit.
Yep. There you go, J-Ram. You got 3 different things there. What does the best full-time, 40 hours per week, Monday through Friday, day-to-day schedule look like for a full-time wholesaler? I love it. I'm going to pepper this real quick, and then I'm curious to know yours. Full-time, 40 hours a week. I broke the day up into 2 parts. Morning was for hunting, and the afternoon was for gathering. Yeah, and here, you can put this. Here's the perfect schedule. Thank you. So what I did is you got to practice and role play, warm it up, get comfortable, get into the rhythm. And this is before, once you get this down, like Elijah has it down. You could put him on the phone right now and he could just go bananas. I could go on the phone right now. We could go bananas. Rafael could go right now, go bananas. But as you're starting out, some of the words are different. Some of the ways that you react to the questions that people ask are different. Once you understand that people pretty much ask you the same questions over and over and over and over since the beginning of property ownership, right, in this country. So 8:30 to 9, practice role play, 9 to noon. That is for the morning is for finding business. The afternoon is for doing business. The morning is for hunting. The afternoon is for gathering. And then a quick lunch. You don't need to spend an hour, 3 hours, 4 hours lunch, 15-minute lunch. 12:15 to 1 o'clock is the lead follow-up. 1 o'clock to 5 is either additional follow-up. This is your seller appointments, your driving for dollars, or cash buyer negotiations on the deals that you are selling. So that is my perfect schedule. Go ahead.
Sure. So 2 things I give you guys, and trust me, I'm going back. I'm going back 17 years ago, 04, and I just remember when I finally went full time. I wasted so much time because nobody gives you a manual what to do with this, right?
No.
So, I call it the 1/3, 2/3 formula first.
Love it.
1/3 of your time, you want to be learning, because there's courses, there's modules, there's lives. You're going to want to learn. 2/3 of the time, I want you doing. I want you doing more than just learning because you're always going to learn more from your own personal experiences than anybody else's podcasts, testimonials, any of that. Then I have this thing called the A through E method. This A through E method. And so what you do, you mind dump absolutely everything you do, everything you need to get done for the whole week. Business first, personal next. And then once you mind dump everything, you write down A for always get done, B, better get done, C, could get done, D, delegate, E, eliminate. So now you have these personal priorities to what you want to get done because everything feels important, especially starting out. You don't know what's urgent, what's important, and that confuses a lot of us starting out. So once you write down your whole list, you write down, hey, maybe I want to, like I said, get my leads together, might be an A. Maybe driving for dollars might be an A. Maybe send out text message might be a B. Maybe I need to get a haircut, that might be a C. Booking a trip with a friend, that might be an E. Getting yourself set up where I want to schedule out my email blast, that might be something I need to delegate. Then hopefully using Google Calendar, set large blocks of time. Large blocks of time to get your A items done on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Love it.
And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, you do different B and C items. The most value you're going to get out of this is when you do it the next week on Sunday, you're going to find out what A items did I not get done, what B items I didn't get done. And by having that process, you're going to make adjustments quicker because everybody's life's a little different. Do that, follow that process.
When do you do your affirmations?
Every morning. Every morning I do affirmations
Why?
to start because if you don't start the day with pouring power into yourself, reminding yourself who God created you to be, you have a divine right to be this, and your success has been promised to you if you wake up and you go and get the work. And that's why I feel it's so important. Let's go. Let's go.
Woo!
Fire. Yes.
I love it. So give somebody give them a little snippet of your affirmations.
Sure. And if you DM me on Instagram affirmations, I'll personally send you my affirmation for anybody who wants it. Elijah Rubin.
I love this.
This is how it sounds. And I have a separate affirmation just for you before you get on the phones. All right. So I have a pre-call affirmations. But before you can get to the pre-call affirmations, you got to do your morning affirmations. How it sounds is something like this. Sound like I'm about to go in.
Hit it.
I promise myself to be so strong that nothing could disturb my peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, prosperity to every person I come across. To make all my friends feel like there's something worthwhile in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make my optimism come true. To think only for the best or work only for the best. To expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as I'm about my own. To forget the mistakes of the past. To press on the great achievements in the future. To wear a cheerful expression at all times. To give a smile to every living creature I meet, to give so much time and prove myself to have no time left to criticize others, to be too large for word, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of myself and proclaim this fact to the world, not allow words but yes in great deeds, to live in faith that the whole world's on my side, so as long as I'm true to be the best that's in me. Let's go, y'all. Come on, let's go. Energy's increased, energy states drifted.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. You got to wow out of Alejandra. That's great. That is phenomenal. I love it. I love it. Guys, obviously this is on YouTube, so you can go back and slow this down and get it, and or just make it easy and DM Elijah Rubin. What's
Elijah.Rubin on Instagram. And like I said, RUBIN, Jewish, not Latino. Shout out to my Latinos, but IN, not EN. All right?
Got it.
We have one more question for Elijah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just DM'd you, by the way.
Got you. I got you. You know I got you, my guy. So what's one of your top ways to find sellers leads for fire damaged properties? Another good source, what you could do is connect with people who are already talking to your client, right? So there's public adjusters, there's restoration companies, board up companies, fencing companies, content collecting companies. Your average restoration company, what are they looking to do? They're looking to restore their property. They're not looking to buy the property. So if they do not want to, if the homeowner does not want to restore their property, guess what happens to that lead? It sits there. They're not like us. They're not following up 3 times a day, 3 times a week. They're not doing any of that. It sits there. So once you're able to approach them, let them know that you're a fire damage specialist. You're looking to buy properties. If they have any properties that they didn't want their services that they could refer to you, you'll pay them consulting fee if you buy the property. In exchange, if anybody who doesn't want to sell the property to you, that they want the property restored, you're going to refer them, and now we have what I call a referral-based relationship. That's a really good source.
Do you
to get
connect with people around the country that are like, hey, I need help negotiating this fire damage? Or
Absolutely.
is it just your company?
No. Like I said, I help people all around the country.
Right.
Who help if they need help with them. Like I said, my goal is just to impact and leave people in a better position.
Because it doesn't matter where it's at to you, right?
It could be in New York. I got deals in New York, D.C., Chicago, California, Oregon, all over.
Sydney, if you need some help, reach out to him. You got his DM. Is that the best way, or his email? Or
Yeah,
what?
I mean, you always can email me. My email is Elijah, ELIJAH, at Win LLC, WIIN LLC.com. DM me or email me. Love to be a
Your
blessing.
LLC's Win?
Yeah. Win only with the two eyes. All right,
Oh.
2 eyes. We both get an eye for each other.
All right, WIIN.
Yes,
Got it.
LLC.com.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you get that spelled right. We'll probably put it in the show notes or something here.
Sure, thank you.
Figure it out, maybe. I don't know. Alejandro's looking at me like, no, we're not. Okay, here we go. Just kidding. Awesome. Salvatore, how much time for a beginner should you give yourself to learn before picking up the phone and getting to work? That is awesome. Well, listen, Salvatore, you know, you saw my whole breakdown here, right? You saw this thing. You know, this is truly what I believe is your education. It's not taking education plus action equals results. It's action plus results is your true education. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I think it's important for you to constantly be learning and why you put in as a third of the day is because of confidence. Mm-hmm. It's because it is hard to take the action if you feel stupid. If you feel awkward, if you feel like you're going to fumble and mumble, if you feel like people are going to steamroll you, if you feel like you don't have that like that rock steady confidence to move forward and speak to a property owner about their property. So one thing that's going to build that is going to be learning the scripts, learning how to role play a little bit, even if it's just you and your whatever, your friends, your family, the mirror, whatever it is, getting the verbiage down that you need to understand. But you're gonna learn very quickly by doing the work. All right, listen. Here's what it comes down to: find an ugly house, have a quality conversation with that property owner, and see if a cash as is offer is going to solve their problem. That's it. That's it in the beginning. Right? You don't have to learn the 20 different closing techniques. You don't have to learn, all of these other things. And then when you find that, to have a quality conversation, because this is the learning part, you need to find out the condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation to sell, and their price. That's it. So ugly house, quality conversation, and if that cash offer is going to solve their problem, you've got a deal in your hands. Just don't overthink it. I think we overthink a lot, but I think that a lot of that kind of spins us around. And instead of taking that action and talking to the people and building up your experience, we kind of sit and we wait, and then we get paralysis by analysis, we get procrastination, and we get perfectionism. And those 3 P's are going to destroy you every single time. So don't let any one of those stop you. That's paralysis by analysis, perfectionism, and procrastination. All right.
Yeah. Wow, man. Brent,
Yeah.
I wish you was around when I first started,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, he gave you guys gems and golds. All right, and
What do you think? I mean, how much time for getting it in and going and
Sure, and like I said, I laid out the 1/3, 2/3, and
Yeah.
I think what 2 things you could really do to help turbocharge your confidence to get out there. All right, do these pre-call affirmations like
Yep.
I talked about, so you
yeah.
remind yourself who you are. Highly
Can you
recommend.
give us the call affirmation?
Yeah, pre-call
before you call.
Yeah. So I don't have them by memory. I don't
It's
have
all
those
right.
one by memory, but I have them right here. I'll pull it up for you real quick.
I love it. While you're pulling it up, Rafael, what do you think?
I think,
Learning,
it
action.
just reminds me of the old adage, right? Like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's it.
So
Mike
you can
Tyson.
there's so many theoretical professionals out there.
Yes.
But until you pick up the phone and you actually get in there, like the
Theoretical.
learning doesn't begin.
Yep.
And you can have this theoretical approach about how the script goes. When they ask me this, I'm going to throw this out there and whatnot. But when you're on a phone call,
Yep.
everything goes on the window. Everything, everything goes out the window. It's you forget what to say. You start sweating. Your palms are wet. Your brain's somewhere else, and you start freaking out. Like, it just happens.
Yep.
But I mean, taking the action plus results is the education. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not opposed, right? So run the script a couple of times.
Yep.
Figure out what you're gonna say. Do some role play.
Have it in
Definitely
front of you.
spend a little bit of time,
Yep.
by yourself before you jump into it. But you don't have to wait days or weeks. Like,
Love it.
Yeah.
1-2 days of trying that out, and then get on the phones, because
Yeah.
that's gonna be the gold.
Yeah, no, for sure. And right before I get into the pre-call affirmation, what you absolutely say before you get on the phone, definitely say these before that, though. Role play. I have a big thing I preach. If you heard me over the years, how you role play determines how your role pays.
Oh,
all
okay.
right. So
I see what
understand
you're
that.
doing.
Little bar.
I see what
Trying
you're doing.
to give them the
I see
bars
what
over
you're
here.
doing.
Right.
Do we have a sound thing? Are you doing the sound things, man? Are we getting the sound in? Is anybody commenting, Alejandro? I hope he is. Are you forgetting about that?
A couple times.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Chicka bow,
So-
chicka
Go
wow
ahead.
wow. Can I do voice sounds?
Chicka
or
chicka
no?
wow
Yeah, you can do
wow.
all of that.
One of those airports.
No, but honestly, how you role play definitely determines how you role play. So take this seriously. And you might be saying, hey, Elijah, Brent, Rafael, I don't have anybody to role play. I'm in Idaho by myself. No excuses. You said you could role play in the mirror or record yourself. Record yourself and play it back and see when do you smile, when you look frowning, are you walking around? So that's another thing. And one good gem I'm going to tell you guys that helps. Do not sit down in your seat until you did 10 calls. 10 calls. You have to earn your right to sit down. All right. So do those things and then do these pre-call affirmations. Throw on some instrumentals in the background. Change your state. Get out your energy. You can't be thinking, oh my goodness, I don't know what to say. They're going to hang up on me. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous.
Right.
Get out of that. This is what you're going to say right here.
Yep.
Pre-call affirmations, I'll send these to you as well. All right, so pre-call affirmation sounds like this. I'm an elite achiever. I'm a trusted advisor. These people need my help and my advice, regardless if they're aware of it or not. We create win-win solutions. We are the best option. It is my job to help them see that. I'm the best solution engineer alive. I'll apply extra effort while providing additional value to everyone I come in contact with. I'll handle objection with ease and provide simplified solution with speed. I consistently get better and better on every call. On every call is sell or be sold. Boom. Let's go! And then pick up the phone, start dialing, and the only other thing I'll add to this is get out of the first year, especially for your first month, get out of your head, I got to make the perfect offer. I got to look to make relationships.
Love it.
Not offers. Make relationship, not offers. People do business with people they have relationship with.
Yep.
Look for that way.
Love it. Gold. Peter. Hey guys, I'm looking for a way to manage all the sellers I'm talking to in one place. Is that called a CRM? And if so, what is the best one to use on a budget? Yes, Peter, it truly is. I'd be curious to know, typically what a lot of people do is if you're talking to a lot of property owners and if you're being proactive, it just depends on where these sellers are coming from. If they're coming from marketing, then yes, you need a CRM. If you're going to go out and make the calls or the texting, you can do that all through batch and batch leads and batch dialer. A lot of people keep their follow-up and their CRM in their dialer until they get staff. And then once you have staff, there needs to be some accountability. There needs to be tasks that be set. But truly the master of the CRM who built mine and is the best at it is sitting right there.
Hands
it's
down.
Rafael Cortez.
Hands down.
So it's not even close. I mean, you've been playing this game for a long time. You've been messing with CRMs for a long time. When do you think, honestly, somebody should invest in a CRM?
After you have maybe more than 100 prospects.
Got it.
Up until that point, you don't need to worry about the bells and whistles. You don't need to have a CRM set up in place to really start doing things. A notebook will do fine. I mean, for the time being, you don't want to stay there for a long time. But the thing about CRMs, like the purpose of this whole thing in place is so you don't drop the leads, so the leads don't fall through the cracks. If you're handling 10, 20, 30 leads that you're just kind of following up on, you can do that from a notebook. Like you can do that relatively easy. It's going to allow you to do a couple of things, right? First off, there's a perfectly good CRM right there.
This is how I did my first $1 million in deals.
Yeah.
Right here. This right here and this right here. You can buy it on Amazon for like, I don't know, $20. It's 1 through 31 and January through December. And literally, if it was, what's today, the 20th, right? I would go to the 20th. I'd pull out all the leads to the 20th. I'd call them. I'd write my notes, and then I'd put them back in on the day. If it's today, great. I'm going to keep that stack out. Triple column, whatever it is, or if it's just a lead follow-up, then I'm going to put it a week after. You don't have to overcomplicate this. I find that people use CRMs as escapism, as a creative avoidance, as a way to feel like they're being productive, but they're not moving the ball downfield. All right? You're just messing around. You're just warming up on the sidelines.
Yeah.
20% of the actions that we take give us 80% of the results.
That's it.
Setting up a CRM at the beginning, it's not part of that 20%. So
That's it.
yeah.
No, and I think what you're saying is absolutely correct. Listen, I was the biggest time waster of all. I'm looking at the shiniest object. I did anything to avoid getting beat down on the phone.
Sure.
And so use what he said. To, one thing not to do, I won't recommend using a yellow pad.
No.
Because I lost my yellow pad.
Yeah,
right, and I lost like $15,000 worth of deals. All right.
And I found it.
That's who closed my deals.
And I put it in the binder. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
What you can do,
No.
use a simple spreadsheet.
Yeah.
A simple spreadsheet is the easiest. No excuses. You shouldn't be spending more than 20 minutes a day on your CRM until you get to 100 leads. And then once you get to 100 leads, reach out to Rafael. He gets you right.
Yep. Tyler, how many leads per day for your cold callers? It just depends. I mean, it used to be that you could get a deal. A lead every hour. It's about 0.5 to 0.7, like a half a lead, or a lead every 2 hours, or 0.7 leads every hour. So it just depends on how much they're calling throughout the day. But I'll usually get about 30 leads per week for 40 hours from one cold caller.
Yeah.
From each cold caller.
What I recommend, just try to make sure, obviously you want the most leads you can, but understand these are where the leads are coming from.
Yeah.
Qualified leads and actual leads are two different things, but that's a
right.
separate question.
That's right.
As far as I think to set the KPI for them to be at least dialing 600 to 700 calls a day.
Love it.
And if they're calling 600-700 calls a day, that should get you about 1 to 2 deals a day. And that's what you
Leads?
want to make. Leads with that, at least, I'm not saying qualified leads, but just a lead.
Not
that,
deals, though.
deals. So
You said deals a day.
Oh, I apologize. Not deals. I apologize. Leads. Because
Okay.
you're going to go
Okay.
through a lot of timber
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
to
yeah.
the gold. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
A lot of wood.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I apologize. That leads only.
So Tyler, what I would look at is obviously the most important, accurate phone numbers, fresh lists, good niche lists. If you put your phone prospectors, your lead generation machine and give them the best opportunities, the niche lists, the things that are a little bit tougher to find, they're obviously going to bring you more.
Yeah.
So keep them fresh and keep them encouraged and make them part of your team, and then just check the results and just follow up with them. And if you can record here in Arizona, you can record. It's a one party state, so just Google, can I record in my state? And if you can listen to the recordings. If not, I highly encourage you to spend an hour a week on a 3-way call. You put your phone on mute, listen to the conversations that they're having. They're obviously going to be on their best behavior because you're like standing over them, right, in a virtual way. But you want to hear how they're communicating, what they're going through, how these leads sound, what's going on. It's really important. But remember, don't hire a cold caller until you talk to 1,000 property owners yourself. For real.
That's solid.
For real. 1,000. I don't care if you have $10 million in the bank and you're like, I'm going to just start doing this wholesaling as like a hobby or whatever else,
Right.
which nobody's on here. But maybe there is one person. Still make the 1,000 calls. I don't care. Everybody.
Yeah, that's quality. That's
Raf?
quality.
It goes back to that action plus results equals education.
Yeah.
Like, that goes back to your
Yeah.
framework there.
Yeah.
Like it sets you up to understand what you're actually going to be asked in a real negotiation
Yep.
when you get to that point. So
Love it.
it's very, very
Do you have-
important. It's not
do you have
just
to
about
go?
the numbers.
Got time?
It's about knowing what to say and handle it once you get to that point.
Awesome. Yeah. Lobson, can you comp, please, 145 Willow Branch Avenue, Jacksonville, 32254. Motivation, no funds to rehab. Himself has a city lien, 1931. I feel like with a lot of this momentum, probably not comping right now, but I'll take a look at it. First of all, I'll comp it, but you tell me what they want for it. What do they want for it? Are they ready to go right now? 145 Willow Branch. Yeah, I'll pull that up as we go through the next one. Let me just pull this up now so that we have it. I got logged out, and then we'll move on to the next one, and then we'll get back here. So let me know what they want for it, because I need to know if we're even close or if we're just spinning our wheels here. All right? What do you do when a student asks you to comp a property, look at a property? What do you look for them to send you to get an idea? Is it the condition? Is it the time? I mean, what do you ask for?
I'm always looking for. Listen, when someone says, "Hey, can you help me with this property?" Why do they want to sell?
Yep.
I need to know what the real motivation is. How much are they asking? And did you look at it?
Yep.
Don't just send me an address because you didn't want to do any of the work. Because if you looked at it, you should be able to see, hey, do they have other properties? If they have other properties, then this might be a multiple property portfolio play motivated seller. So those are some of the things I like to make sure I ask them to do up front. I want to know about like why they want to sell, what do they want, do they have any other properties, and have you at least engaged with them, or is this all via text, or have you engaged with them?
I love it.
Yeah.
So real quick, we can pull this. Go ahead. Yeah. We'll find out what that person wants, but I've got it pulled up. Go ahead. An agent just told me wholesaling was illegal. Of course they did. Called me disgusting. Of course. It's completely legal in Wisconsin. Still a sucky feeling, though. Angel, listen. I mean, sticks and stones, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Somebody's mad at you because you make more money than them? Get used to it, bro.
Right now,
I mean,
they're probably
honestly,
buying
Angel.
a course. That's what they're doing.
Huh?
Right now, they're probably buying a course. They just found out about wholesaling.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, Angel. Here's the thing. Most agents don't even know. I mean, they really don't. And remember, you know, the perspective of an agent is this: they go in with a fiduciary duty to get the most for this property for the property owner. So they feel that anybody that gets a deal is stealing equity, and it's complete. I mean, it's just nonsense. It really is, because what most agents don't understand is they don't set the price. The market doesn't set the price. Interest rates don't set the price. The seller doesn't set the price. Appraisers don't set the price. The only person that determines the price, the value of a property, is the cash buyer. Is a buyer. It's a ready, willing, and able buyer. If you're going in as the buyer and you're finding those opportunities, listen, I get it. I get it. I get that, you know, this real estate agent doesn't understand what you're doing and doesn't understand the properties that you're going after, doesn't understand what's going on. And most of the time it's coming from jealousy and a fear of the unknown. They just don't know what's going on. They feel like, you know, we're going after little old men and women, and and they can't make any decisions. And we're like, you know, grabbing their hand and signing for them, and, you know, going to the title company and like sitting next to the title and pressuring the title company to get this close. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. It's absolutely ridiculous. You need to have pride and understanding that 6 to 10% of the real estate market is in distress at all times. That's who we work with. We're not working with the people that have beautiful, clean, upgraded properties. We're working with people that have either financial distress, the property's in distress, or they have emotional distress where they just don't want to deal with this responsibility anymore. And I take great pride in what we do and the value and the service that we provide, because, listen, fact is, real estate agents aren't going to go in there. Right. Real estate agents aren't going to go knock on doors and call these people and see if they want to sell their property and help them move on and find other parts and make it as smooth as possible and find other places to live and everything. So have pride in it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm in the same vein with you. And one thing I like to tell them too, when they try to wholesale, you're just a wholesaler, or what you're doing is illegal. I'm like, well, actually, I'm a real estate investor.
Yeah.
I just happen to specialize in solution engineering. All right. So although you may not understand what solution engineering, meaning that sometimes the right solution is for me to buy it, sometimes it's for me to fix and flip it, and depending on what my capital allocation is for that given month, I may choose to wholesale. Wholesale is another strategy I happen to use. What strategy do you use, or do you only list the property? And then, so what I did, I educated them, and I spoke to the position to edify them. A lot of times that brings down their defense mechanism so they could take a chill pill and relax themselves, drink some Act Right tea, and treat you nice. Treat you nice.
I love this. So before we go to the next question, Andra, so let me throw this at both of you guys, just with your experience, okay?
Sure.
This guy has a property, okay? He's got a lien on it for $1,900. It's in Jacksonville, Florida, okay? He had it listed last year, right before really the whole pandemic hit. 183 days on the market. It was a failed listing at $50,000. Okay.
Failed listing, $50,000.
A year ago in Jacksonville. Property looks vacant, boarded up. Here's a picture of it. Okay. That's what we're looking at. It's a duplex, but it's tiny. 768. So I would just consider it a single family, right? Yeah, or whatever else. I mean, I just see that. So 50,000, just instant. What's coming to your mind? I'm just curious to see how, you know, our wavelengths differ or are the same. When you hear that this was on the market for $50,000, how much do you think this seller wants for this property?
This seller.
If you just had, if you saw that this is the numbers that you have.
I mean,
They've owned it 15 years. They
15
bought it
years?
cash in 06.
The first question that comes to mind, like, what's the average price point in the area? Like, does it 50K is the guy's probably going to be asking an unrealistic amount at $50,000. Now, if it stayed there, the property's already stigmatized. That's the second thought that's jumping into my head.
Okay.
It didn't move.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing. I want to look how many days on market was it?
183.
183 days. So they are thinking it has to be 47,000 because the realtor's for it.
And this is a year ago. They might want more now.
The markets went up.
Market's
you understand?
going crazy.
So I had a bad realtor. Is my girlfriend's father, uncle who's a realtor, and that's why I didn't sell. Not because it's my market, not because of the condition, is because of them. So I probably need 75,000 now.
So here is a similar property. Oh, hold on. Let me get the one that'll actually give us. This is in the same neighborhood. We're using PropStream here. I'm going to the neighborhood tab. I'm looking for these properties. Hold on. Let me get the sale date going here. 45,000 here. This is what a 45,000 looks like.
This is all fixed up already.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's dated, right?
Yeah.
So,
Not remodeled, but no repairs. Looks like.
right. That's 45,700 square foot. Sold 5 months ago.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at offer price?
Those boards don't look too sexy on that house.
Right.
I wonder if that's the actual current condition of it. But
Oh,
yeah.
I would assume yes.
Yeah, at the very least, I mean, you would have to peg it at that $45,000 range as an A or B, like that. On the when I was talking about the 5 comps, that would be at the top of that list for those comps.
Right.
So
I
you
mean, it's
have
boarded up still.
okay.
That's
Yeah.
2021 Google right there.
House, damn.
Yeah.
So we would have to come in around the 25, 27,000 number, and depending on what the situation and what they need to do, we might go the creative route. You know? It might be an option depending on what they need.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, if I was cash, I'd be like at 5 or 10,000. To be honest, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, he bought it for 65,000 in 2006. Who knows what maybe it just sat. They bought it cash. Maybe it hasn't done anything. I looked at linked properties here to see if they're multiple properties. Not really. Looks like they own that and their own property. And so I would just see if they're realistic. If they really want to sell this thing, the other option is seller financing. They own this free and clear with a small down payment. Can you make very minimal payments to them and then assign that over to somebody else and wholesale that owner finance deal? And that's how I would package that up is probably the most likely. But if they're like, hey, we want 50 still.
I want to dunk a basketball, but these 5'7" legs ain't happening. And it's what we want and what we get are two different things, right?
I love it. That's great. All right. There you go. Oh,
What's the fire damage formula? What is the secret sauce? And so just understand, obviously different markets are differently, and you have to understand the holding times are higher.
Yep.
The repair costs are higher. Because you have to get a certificate of occupancy.
Let me ask you about that. So let's say fire damage. They need to redo this area. Let's say it's an area of 1,000 square feet. Do you have in your mind, based on where it's at in the market in the country, what an average price per square foot to fix that back up is?
Yes, but
Because I'm playing this a lot with my students at like 125 or 100, depending on the area, or something like that. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me where I can improve here.
It's kind of like that,
Yeah.
and like I said, just with lumber and copper,
Right.
it's changed a lot of the
It's-
numbers.
and
So
labor.
right, the labor's changing depending on what state you're in. City, California is crazy. Then North Carolina, and across the board, things have been all over the place.
Yep.
So my easiest rule of thumb I like to use: you want to be between 3 to 25% on your offer of ARV for when you offer the seller. 3 to 25%, assuming it is
3 to 25% of what?
of the ARV
Of ARV
is what you want to make your offer because
if the whole house is.
if it's a total loss.
Got
If
it.
it's a partial loss, then you could go higher. All right, because
That's basically land value.
you're getting close to land value.
Yeah.
But is there? You have to understand there's asbestos in some of these houses, and you can't just go in there and just rip it off. You have to use people with hazmat machines. There's a whole other process when you deal with fire damage. House in 1979 and older, lead-based paint. There's things that you don't deal with when fire and chemicals are in the mix.
What if it's just the kitchen?
If it's just a
You
kitchen,
know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's just a kitchen small fire, it's a lot easier. You
Right.
can really kind of look at those. You want to add another $10 to $15 per square foot, which you usually do. So you might use $25 to $35 a square
Right.
foot to build,
Right.
rebuild. I'll say just bump it up another 10 to 15.
That's it.
Just
All right.
if it's just a partial,
Right.
loss, because at the end of the day, anything could be rebuilt.
Right.
Anything can be
So
rebuilt.
you're at like $50, $60 a square foot?
So on average, I would say contact a construction company or restoration company. Let them know you have a fire damage deal. You might be considered to let them work on it. What's the average dollar per square foot you're going after? But yeah, I'll say on average, for total rebuilds, we're looking at between 125 to 130. National average is what we're looking at for rebuild costs.
Hey, Elijah, just to kind of recap and bring it full, this works because most of the time they've already gotten paid on the claim, right? So this is like extra.
Yeah, that's what makes
the
this niche.
3%. I'm thinking about the 3%, offer. Like that sounds awfully low, but they've already gotten cashed out.
Correct. They're negotiating. The reason why this is such a profitable niche is because they already got cashed out by the insurance company, like you mentioned, and in addition to, they are negotiating with profit.
Yep.
It's a lot easier to give you a deeper discount when I'm negotiating with profit than the last nickels to my name.
Love it.
Good point, Rafael.
Maybe 2 more questions. Yeah. Monte, how would you stay firm on asking price when it comes to your buyers? Well, listen, the easiest way to be firm on your price is to have multiple buyers. Okay? Because here's the thing, if somebody's trying to negotiate with you and you have nobody else to sell this to, you're going to have to play the game a little bit. You're going to have to try, well, I've got another offer. Okay, take it. Oh, well, maybe what's your best offer? Watch that, right? Have another, that's why, the step 2 of getting massive deals is having a lot of buyers. Right? The more people, it's the same, just think of it the same way a seller feels when they're selling their property to you. If they're negotiating with 15 cash offers, they're going to get a higher price. There just are. There's going to be competition there. Somebody's going to increase that, bid up that price. It's the same thing with your cash buyers. The more that you put it out to, the better. All right. So that's the best way to stay firm on your asking price. If you only have one buyer and they have a price that they will only go to, what are you going to do? Cancel the deal or take the $1,500 or the $15,000 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But if you got multiple buyers and they're coming at you, that's how we always get our deals bid up. And that's how we always get the most out of every deal.
Yeah. No, I mean, you hit it on the head there. That's one big piece. 2, make sure that the numbers are real. If the numbers work, listen, the only thing a rich person wants to do more than getting rich is getting rich on a deal that their rich buddy couldn't find first. Mm-hmm. And you're the key. Mm-hmm. So if you have a real deal and you only had one buyer, throw it on Craigslist. Yep. Throw it on Facebook Marketplace. Pull all the cash buyers. Reach out to other people. But you have to be confident in your numbers. If you're confident in your numbers, don't be afraid to say, I'm going to hold off on that number. Be willing to walk away because you always...
That's a great point. Have a great deal.
That usually helps.
That's
number
number one.
Number one.
That's number one.
If it's a great deal, tell them to leave it then. It's not for you. It's fine.
Yeah.
And that's why I really think to have a good deal, stand firm and be willing to walk away. Because when buyers know that you're willing to walk away, he who has the deal or she who has the deal calls the shot. Bernie Madoff made it very evident that there's a lot of stupid money out there and not a lot of smart, good deals out there.
Right.
All right.
For you youngins, Google Bernie Madoff.
Bernie Madoff. Yeah. Yeah.
Going
Big hedge
old
fund.
school.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Hit him with it.
It's called Ponzi scheme. Last question. That is the last question. All right. Well, awesome. I love it. Elijah, thank you for being on here,
Yes,
guys.
thank you.
Make
Appreciate
sure that you guys get into his DMs. Make sure that if you have a deal that is a fire damage, make sure that you reach out. Make sure that you get to Closers Olympics.
Please,
when does this
please.
price increase? The first?
The
November
first, November 1st. It's going to be on November 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yep.
Please be there. Close the Olympics.
Yep.
Like I said, learn the top techniques. Who's this for?
Top techniques, top closers, top coaches, top judges, the whole thing. It's going to be absolutely real. These are not like we're We're just going to role play. These are real sellers on the phone. This is you listening, you being a fly on the wall. It's incredible.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I said, if you're struggling with closing deals, this is for you. If you close a couple deals inconsistently, you want to be there and learn for it. If you're crushing it right now, have your acquisition guys, have your VAs listen to it.
Yep.
I mean, this is the only time you're going to hear top tier closers. Unless you're in their programs, you're never going to be able to hear the actual closer, not teach, but do.
Yep.
All right. You're always going to learn from seeing people do, because if you can see it, you could be it.
That's it.
Appreciate you for
Love
all
it.
you guys locking in.
Guys, come on out. Come on out, the whole team.
Come
Guys,
on.
this is a group effort every single time. I hope that you appreciate it. Got energy from Rafael and his beautiful guitarra. We got Rafael Cortez here. We got Matt Hill. We've got Daniel Walker. And we got Alejandro Merch saying we love you guys. And tomorrow we are doing Millionaire Before 30 with Ryan Zolan. We've got an incredible guest that has made his millions flipping properties, and he's going to show you how to raise the funds and how to do that as well. So do not miss that. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.